Hey, what's up everybody? It's Ultimates53 here, and to commemorate Pokemon's 20th anniversary, I'm actually going to review a game in the franchise. This is not part of a review at all, which is the review show I do every Thursday. No, this is not part of that. This is separate. I'm just going to be doing a review of one of my favorite, well, no, not my favorite, but like, it's the game that started it all for me. Like, the first, generation I started on with Generation 3, I grew up on that and went on from there. So this game, I'm going to be reviewing Pokemon Emerald version. Uh, which is a really, really good game. There's a lot about this game that I love. You can see. Yeah. Um, Pokemon Emerald version, I started on a game. It's a really, really good game. I mean, I hadn't played Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire before, and this is the first whole game I played. So it was the first game I played, and it was fantastic. I mean, it really was. There's a lot about the game I liked. I liked the fact that it was very different from Ruby and Sapphire. I mean, I hadn't, like I said before, I haven't played those games, but I've seen them, and it's similar gameplay, very similar. Same idea, same Pokemon, but it had more. It had more to it, and the gym leaders are actually different in this one. This is actually it's the same region and it's the same everything, except I drew the gym leader in this one that was different, and that's Juan, I believe. The 8th gym leader. He's different. He's actually he's supposed to be the part of the Elite Four in the Hoenn games. I don't know. The Hoenn games, and so this is the first time you actually see a different gym leader. But also, it was really, really awesome because, I mean, it's not just because it was my first game. Literally, this is my first game ever. I mean, Leaf Green was also Leaf Green was part of the same generation, and I'll play that game also. But this game was my first Pokemon game, because I hadn't even known what Pokemon was until this generation came out. And this generation was a good generation. It really was. It introduced Ill Battles, which is a great mechanic that I really like that. And it also introduced the Poke Gear, which was part of Ruby and Sapphire, I believe. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it's part of Ruby and Sapphire. And that was an ability to get calls from trainers who wanted to battle you, and I loved it. I mean, it's not as good as the one in Leaf Green and Fire Red, where it's the Poke. It's the thing that lets you like I think it's the versus. I don't even know. It's basically the thing that lets you when you activate, you'll be able to, if you're around trainers who you have already battled, they'll be able to battle them again, which is pretty awesome. Actually, I think it was the versus seeker. Yeah. Because the versus recorder was a different mechanic, and that was you could record your battles. But versus seeker was where you're seeking battles out for trainers. But the Pokénev was different in that you couldn't. I mean, that's the only part of the game I didn't like, was the fact that happened, and it was because, I mean, I love in Leaf Green, Fire Red. I mean, I haven't played Leaf Green. I didn't play Leaf Green, but I haven't played Fire Red or Leaf Green. Great game, by the way. And that feature was in there. And then this game, it was removed, and Pokéneb was in its place because it's a new region. I love the whole region. It has some great stuff in it. Really, really awesome. I love it very much. It's a challenging game, but it did come with some good stuff in it. Different gym leaders. They're really good gym leaders. But I did like the end of the game where you have Groudon and Kyogre fighting it out, and unfortunately, and because the previous ones, Ruby and Sapphire, they only let you catch the legendary Pokemon that was in the generation exclusive, like so you'd be Groudon for Ruby version and Kyogre for Sapphire version. But yeah, I mean it was changed because of that. You could now get both of them, which is pretty cool. And also because uh, Rayquaza, which is the legendary snake dragon thingy, space, that was actually the version exclusive to Emerald, because it's like an Emerald Pokemon. It's colored Emerald, which is pretty cool. But I like that. I love the fact that introduced Rayquaza, because Rayquaza is a great Pokemon. But I like the fact that you can catch all three. I mean, Pokemon Emerald has so much potential. It was my first Pokemon game. The starters were great. I had never experienced the whole region before. This is the first time I experienced it. I was able to, I mean, the starters I picked, the starters that were there were Mudkip, Trico, and Torchic, or Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip. It's the whole idea of the grass, fire, water. That's how it goes. But anyway, that was some really good starter. I wasn't a fan of Mudkip, honestly. It just, I don't know. It's just it didn't really work so well with me. But it was I think I experimented with Mudkip the first time around, and then I tried Torchic. I like Torchic a lot better because it evolves into Blaziken, which is evolves into Blaziken and then Blaziken, which is a great Pokemon, by the way. It's really awesome. I love that. It's actually one of my favorite Pokemon. Well, it's one of my favorite three Pokemon. Is Blaziken, because it learns Blaze Kick, and that's a really great move. I love Blaze Kick. It's a good move. It really is. But there's a lot of about this game I loved. I loved being able to catch all three Pokemon, and having different schematics. I did a top 10 video about that included Generation 3, and one mechanic that is still in this game was the fact that you can't run in a Pokemon Center. You can't do that at all. It's like nothing at all like that. But yet again, Pokemon Emerald was a great game, and it's the only game actually that you could catch Mew in. Now Mew is a Pokemon that is like the world's hardest Pokemon to catch, like that, because in the original game you couldn't catch it at all, which is kind of weird. It's like how it would be part of the Pokedex, then why can't you catch it? But in Emerald they fixed that, where you could get it was an event that you could get to, so that you could go to Southern Island. Actually no, I'm thinking of Mew. Faraway Island, which is an island you can go to that lets you catch Mew. Basically, you can go to it. It's an event. It's an event that you can go to, where you can basically have a hide and seek game with Mew and catch Mew for the first time. That was actually I did a thing on that where I was able to I played it and I actually got Mew. It was really great, but because the Emerald was the first. I mean, it might have been Ruby and Sapphire, but I'm pretty sure it was Emerald. It was Emerald. And I remember it's Emerald exclusive to Emerald, where you can only catch Mew in Emerald. That is the only Pokemon you can catch it. It was the only game you can catch Mew in, pretty much. And I loved it. I mean, also I did a video on getting a Deoxys in that, and also Deoxys was another Pokemon that was introduced in this game. There's a lot of Pokemon that you couldn't that were really hard to catch in this game, like Jirachi, which is like almost impossible to catch in this game. It was there was a thing that I saw a video on where it was basically they were doing all these steps of how you can get a Jirachi by going to the moon, and it wasn't real. But I mean, obviously it isn't real. I mean, Jirachi is a Pokemon from the whole region that is like one of those really good Pokemons. Pokemon, sorry. But yeah, I mean, it's a great game overall. I mean, loved it. I loved it. I mean, I think the Elite Four was challenging. I didn't like all the Pokemon they had. I thought the designs were just a bit much, like Makuhita, Skitty, those kind of Pokemon with the eyes closed. I discussed this on a podcast before about the fact I didn't like that. I mean, not all the Pokemon designs were bad. Some of them were just not great. I didn't like all of them. They just weren't great. But I did like them. And so yeah, but that's just like honestly, Emerald was my first Pokemon game, and I loved it, and I loved the designs that they had. I loved how I was really. I mean, I love the evolutions. I love the animation evolutions. Like, and this is the actually because Generation 4 had it. But it was. I mean, it was better Generation 4, but Generation 3 I liked it. I still liked it because they had like you could actually you can be and then the evolution you can actually see it like change. You can like kind of like see like you can see kind of like morph like somewhat morph into the Pokemon, which is great. I mean not quite, but it was still great. I mean it really was. It was great. I love that part. It's the same story. It's basically the same story as Ruby and Sapphire, at least as far as I'm concerned. Uh, but it has more features in it, more of the same, more different sprites. I'm guessing it was more sprites, um, different areas you can go to. I mean, also the fact that it was also a thing about where because basically Ruby and Sapphire. So you had Ruby was Team Magma because there's in every Pokemon game there's always a team that you have to fight against. So in Ruby there was Team Magma, which is basically these people with the red outfits or whatever, and Magma represents fire, I guess. And they have Team Aqua for Sapphire, and that was you could fight each team based off which game you're playing. However, in Emerald you could fight both of them, which is pretty awesome actually. That actually had never happened before in a Pokemon game. This is the first time it actually happened before, and I liked it. I liked the fact that you could fight both of them at the same time. Well, not the same time, but like frequently you could fight Magma sometimes, and you could counter Aqua, and eventually there was a thing where you could see them both fight each other, which is pretty awesome. Having two teams fight each other, that was pretty cool. It's kind of like in the anime with Team Rocket and Team Galactic. It really didn't really happen very much, but this game was great. I loved it very much. It had some great it had some great characters. The characters you heard the one you play as was great. I loved how I mean, for someone who hadn't actually played Emerald, a Generation 3 home game before, like Ruby and Sapphire, this is the first experience for me. So like it's the same story. You arrive in New Park Town. You so they played the professor from a Poochyena. Apparently, Poochyena are just so bad or something like that. But they really aren't that bad. So it was the first time you could do that, and then of course you have a rival and you go to the gym badges and you go to move forward. And it's the same kind of story, except of course in I believe in the Ruby and Sapphire games instead of well, Juan is the 8th gym leader like I said before, but also Wallace is the league champion in this game. Originally, he was the league champion in Ruby and Sapphire, as far as I'm concerned. But in this game, he's actually he's basically, the story goes that Juan, the French water type gym leader, he replaces Wallace as gym leader in these games, and Wallace becomes the champion in these games. So it's really interesting. But yeah, I mean it's a great game. I love the story. It's a really good game. They remade it. Fortunately, they remade it into Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which I might play just because it's in the same generation. I've already played it before. Ruby. I mean, I hadn't played Ruby and Sapphire before, like I mentioned before, but but this is the first time I've been actually enjoying some Pokemon games, and I love Pokemon. And so it's a great game. It really is. It's the first game. It's the first. Well, no, not the first. I think it's the last. It's the last Pokemon main series game on the GBA, which is pretty crazy. But yeah. Anyway, that being said, it was a great game and I loved it. And so I really think it was amazing. They did a really good job with it. For the first time being a Pokemon player on it, it was great. I loved it, and I'm glad it's gone how it's gone, and it had some great Pokemon on it. Really, some great Pokemon. Some of them were like Spinda. That was just weird. Some of the designs were just I would not catch them. I just would not catch them because they were so weird and just like, ugh. So yeah, because some of them I wouldn't catch, some of them I would. I wasn't a fan of like. I mean, I didn't hate it, but Tail and Dispel. I'm not a huge fan of Pokemon that only evolved once. I'm just not. I don't know what about it. Just I'm not. Um, but I still have a follow. And some. I mean, even if they are only evolved once, they're still good Pokemon. But yeah. Anyway, that just about wraps that up for this review. I hope you liked it. If you did like it, then please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to my channel for more content. I'm planning on making more of these Pokemon reviews because of the Pokemon 20th anniversary. So yeah, yeah. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. See ya.